Well, hi guys and gals, it's me George, and it's Monday, I think it's the 19th, and we've got our new starter on here, and I bought new battery cables for it so I could bolt it right up properly, and I'm not happy. One of the things I found out is that right back in here, the boss that the bolt goes through to bolt into the starter to hold it in place is cracked. Evidently it must have been loose at one time in the past. See that right there? You see that crack right there? Yeah. Unless it happened when I was trying to start it with the other starter. And you can see the starter is not quite lined up where it should be. I'm going to loosen that bolt up and try and slide it up a little bit, and I'll bring it right back. Okay, let's give it another try. I'll turn the gas on here. Doesn't have a whole lot of gas left in it, and I already knocked my gas can down. The line got caught in the flywheel. I do have another flywheel if that becomes an issue, the flywheel off of our parts motor. Well, let's see how this one sounds and how it starts. She's a runner. I'm not caring for that starter sounding the way it is, but I did get it tightened up, and it's lined up the way it's supposed to be. See, it's pretty much flush at the top of the boss there. And you can see again where that crack is. Now, it's as tight as it can be. The flywheel doesn't look bad. I still don't like the way it sounds. It might be just the way these are. Worst comes to worst, I can put that flywheel on, which is identical. Came off of our parts engine. So that's where we're at with our Onan. I will be cleaning it up, but you won't be seeing that until I'm ready to do bling. One of the issues with this is that the output shaft on this is not conducive to a clutch of any sort that I have been able to find. It's a 1 7/16 inch diameter output shaft right here. And the thing is, this was not really the output shaft for the drive on the lawnmower that this was in. That would have been the output shaft for the clutch, the electric clutch to drive the mower deck, and I don't have one that fits on there. These engines actually drove off of this side of the engine, and you can see where it has a 4-bolt flange there on the flywheel. That's where the drive shaft hooked up. Yeah, these were drive shaft setups. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we shall see when the time comes. But now our focus is going to be back on the goofy cart, And speaking of the goofy cart, let me take you in and show you something. We have an issue with my ignition switch set up the way it is. It worked fine with the other motor, but because I'm trying to hook up more gauges and so forth, I now do not have a shutoff position on here for the ignition. So what I have done, you turn that on and your light comes on, you flip this up here and you flip that switch up like that, and it starts right up. Turn the key off, you have to shut it off using that toggle switch, which is okay. So it's one more piece of the puzzle. I'm still trying to figure out how to get my tachometer to work. This one doesn't seem to want to work the way the wiring indicates it should. Maybe it's not appropriate for this kind of engine setup. We'll see. So I got a little more tinkering to do with that, and I got a little bit of tinkering to do with the amp gauge. But she's ready to go. The one last thing that I need to do, hold on to your hats. Okay, so the one last thing we have to do to make this drivable is I have way too much slack in this chain under here. So I need to move this idler sprocket over. So all that means is I got to drill another hole, move it over and bolt it down again, and get the slack out of here. These chains have the tendency to stretch out over time. That's fine, but you have to make adjustments for them once you get them done. So I'm going to do that, and then the goofy cart will be ready to drive. Like I said, flip that up, turn the key, this engine is certainly noisier as far as valve train noise, and which I don't understand because we've adjusted all the valves. And it still has a little blowback through the carburetors, but at this point I'm ready to take it for a test ride and see how it actually goes down the road. And I think I had mentioned I want to put this in a car show in the month of June, the next month. So if I'm going to do that, I need to get it cleaned up, don't you know. This tire over here had a puncture in the tube, and we figured out it was just because of a piece of dirt in there, and we had ridden it the last couple of times with a flat tire, but because it's on such a narrow rim and the tires are stiff enough that they held themselves up pretty much the way they were. So I have had a new tube installed. A friend of mine was very gracious to do it for me, and you can see I have some touch up to do on the paint. That's not a big deal, but she'll be ready to go. So we'll be doing some cleanup, and oh yeah, one other thing I got to do, I have to hook up my horn. That's got to be working for sure, you know, and that's just one wire. I have the wire coming up from the back somewhere. I just got to find it again. So until next time, and I'll bring you back and show you after I get that hole re-drilled. See that bolt down in there? That's the bolt that's got to be moved for the idler pulley. Hold on to your hats. Here we go. And don't fall off of there. You'll get to watch me unbolting it. Yeah, and so you did. You fell off. You didn't stay on. It's an Allen bolt from the bottom, fell off this wrench again. Gotta hold it up there. What's the matter with you guys? Do the job. Do the job.